NFL season. In fact, Cleveland Browns are likely to draft a number one wide receiver as far as Carnell Tate. That has definitely been ringing bells in Cleveland. So Jerry Jeudy understands that, and he understands he needs to step his game up a lot more. Jerry Jeudy was seen putting in extra work.
Jerry Jeudy's career is hanging by a thread. As the 2026 NFL season looms, all eyes in Cleveland are on him, and the clock is ticking. The Browns, with a fresh head coach and a new strategy, are on the verge of something big, a potential draft pick that could reshape the offense. Carnell Tate, a towering 6'3" wide receiver from Ohio State, is suddenly the name on everyone's lips, and that has Jeudy fighting for his NFL life. Imagine the tension. Every practice, every route, every drop is now under a microscope. Jeudy knows the stakes. After a heated sideline blow-up with Shedeur, he's gone from a top 10 pick to a player scrambling to keep his spot. It wasn't just a bad game, it was a breakdown. And now every fan, every teammate, every coach is asking, can he rebound, or will he be left behind by Tate and a wave of change? But this isn't just about one player's ego. It's about a team in transition, a new philosophy led by Todd Monken, and a young quarterback who is already drawing comparisons to some of the league's greats. Shedeur is the future, and every move the Browns make now is designed around giving him the support he needs. But for Jeudy, this is a fork in the road, a chance to step up or a moment that defines his fall from grace. Stay with me, because what happens next might be the biggest turning point of his career. The pressure in Cleveland right now isn't just building, it's already boiling over. And for Jerry Jeudy, there's nowhere left to hide. Every move he makes is being watched, analyzed, and quietly judged. This isn't the kind of pressure you shake off with a good practice or a couple of decent plays. This is the kind that follows you into every snap, every route, every single moment on the field. It's no secret that the Browns are exploring ways to upgrade their wide receiver room. There's been a lot of buzz around a potential WR1 coming in, with names like Carnell Tate floating around in conversations. And when that kind of talk starts gaining traction, it sends a very clear message to the current roster. Nobody's spot is safe. Especially not someone who hasn't fully delivered on expectations. Jeudy knows exactly what that means. This isn't just competition anymore, it's a direct threat to his role. He's no longer being viewed as the guy who will take over games. Instead, he's being evaluated as someone who needs to prove he even belongs in that conversation. That shift alone changes everything. And you can see it in the way he's moving. Reports and clips have shown him putting in extra work, arriving early, staying late, grinding through drills with a different kind of urgency. But this isn't the confident grind of a player chasing greatness. This feels different. This feels like survival. Because when a team starts looking outside for your replacement, it hits differently. It's no longer about development. It's about results. Immediate results. Every drop becomes a headline. Every missed connection turns into doubt. Even body language starts telling a story fans are quick to pick apart. If you love real talk and fearless NFL breakdowns, hit subscribe and join Coach Speaks. What makes it even tougher is the environment around him. The Browns aren't rebuilding slowly. They're trying to win now. That kind of mindset doesn't leave room for inconsistency. If someone else can come in and execute better, faster, and cleaner, the decision becomes easy. And that's exactly the situation Jeudy is staring at. There's also the reality that expectations were always high for him. Being a former first-round pick comes with a certain standard, and whether it's fair or not, people expect you to eventually become a game changer. Not just a contributor, not just a role player, a difference maker. And right now, there are serious questions about whether he's lived up to that. But here, where it gets even more intense, it's not just about what he does, it's about timing. The worst time to struggle is when your replacement might already be on the way. And with draft talks heating up, that clock is ticking faster than ever. So now every practice rep matters more than ever before. Every game could be a turning point or the beginning of the end. Because in Cleveland right now, pressure isn't coming. It's already here. And for Jeudy, it's hitting harder than ever. The moment everything started to shift wasn't a stat line or a final score. It was what people saw on the sidelines. Because in today's game, it's not just about what happens between the whistles. It's about what gets caught on camera when things go wrong. During a tense stretch of games, fans began noticing something different about Jeudy. The body language wasn't the same. The energy felt off. Clips started circulating online showing visible frustration. Hands thrown in the air, animated reactions, moments where emotions clearly got the better of him. And once those clips hit social media, the narrative changed almost instantly. It's been said that sideline reactions can reveal more than the game itself. And in Jeudy's case, those moments raised serious questions. Was it just competitive fire? Or was it something deeper, frustration boiling over in a way that started affecting the team? Some reports and fan discussions suggested there was tension, especially during key moments when plays didn't connect the way they should have. Without jumping to conclusions, it's fair to say that people began reading into those reactions. Every glance, every gesture, every heated exchange became part of a bigger conversation. And once that conversation starts, it doesn't slow down, it grows. There's been a lot of buzz online, with some fans speculating that the chemistry on a fence wasn't where it needed to be. Others questioned whether emotions were starting to impact execution on the field. Again, nothing officially confirmed, but perception can be just as powerful as reality in situations like this. What made it worse was the timing. These moments didn't happen when the team was dominating. They happened during struggles, when drives stalled, when opportunities slipped away, when the offense needed composure the most. That's when leadership matters. That's when players are expected to stay locked in, no matter what's happening. And rightly or wrongly, some fans began to question whether Jeudy was handling that pressure the right way. Because here's the thing, wide receivers are expected to demand the ball. That's part of the position. But there's a fine line between passion and visible frustration that affects team morale. And once people feel that line has been crossed, the narrative can turn fast. Now, every time the camera cuts to the sideline, people are watching differently. They're not just looking for reactions, they're analyzing them, trying to read between the lines, trying to figure out what's really going on behind the scenes. For Jeudy, that means the spotlight isn't just on his performance anymore. It's on his composure, his attitude, and how he responds when things don't go his way. And the reality is, those sideline moments didn't just create noise, they created doubt. Doubt among fans, doubt in the media, and possibly even inside the organization. But what makes this even more intense is that those moments might have been just the beginning of a much bigger issue. And this is where things start to get even more complicated, because once those sideline moments went viral, the conversation didn't stay on the field. It moved straight into speculation, locker room talk, and a wave of rumors that only added more pressure to the situation. Over the past months, there's been a growing buzz online about possible chemistry issues within the offense. Nothing officially confirmed, but enough chatter to get people talking. Fans, analysts, and insiders have all been trying to connect the dots. And when a team struggles while emotions are spilling over on the sidelines, it doesn't take much for speculation to take off. Some reports claim that the connection between players hasn't looked as smooth as it should be. Others have pointed out moments where timing felt off, routes didn't sync perfectly, or communication seemed just slightly delayed. On their own, those things happen in football. But when you combine them with visible frustration, they start to tell a bigger story, or at least, that's how it's being interpreted. There's also been talk, again, purely speculative, that not everyone in the locker room is on the same page. Rumors suggest that tension may have built during tough stretches of the season, especially when expectations weren't being met. And when expectations are high, even small cracks can start to look like major problems. Now, it's important to be clear, this kind of buzz doesn't always reflect reality. Locker rooms are complex, emotional environments, and outsiders rarely get the full picture. But in today's era of social media and constant coverage, perception spreads fast. And once a narrative like this begins, it sticks. What's really interesting is how quickly opinions have shifted. Not long ago, Jeudy was seen as a key piece of the offense, a player with serious upside who just needed the right system to thrive. Now, there are conversations questioning his consistency, his role, and even his fit within the team moving forward. Some fans believe he's being unfairly judged, pointing to instability at quarterback and overall offensive struggles. Others feel that regardless of the circumstances, a true WR1 finds a way to rise above it. That divide in opinion only adds more fuel to the fire. And then there's the internal pressure that comes with all of this. Imagine walking into the locker room knowing that every move is being dissected, not just by coaches, but by millions of fans online. Every expression, every interaction, every game becomes part of a bigger narrative you can't fully control. That kind of environment can either break a player or force them to evolve. Because at the end of the day, rumors don't need to be proven to have an impact. They create noise. They create doubt. And sometimes, they create real tension where there might not have been any before. But while all this speculation continues to swirl, there's one thing that makes the situation even more intense. Someone else is quietly being positioned as the solution. While all the noise around Jeudy keeps building, there's another storyline quietly gaining momentum, and it might be the one that changes everything. Because in the background, a new name keeps popping up in conversations, draft talks, and fan debates: Tate. At first, it was just light speculation, a few mentions here and there, but now the buzz feels different. It's louder, more consistent, and impossible to ignore. The kind of buzz that usually means something is already in motion behind the scenes. Tate isn't just another prospect being casually discussed. He's being talked about as a potential game changer. A receiver with size, speed, and polish. Someone who already looks like he belongs at the next level. At 63, with strong hands and clean route running, he checks the boxes teams look for in a true WR1. And that's exactly what makes this situation so uncomfortable for Jeudy. Because everything Tate represents is exactly what Cleveland seems to be searching for. There's a growing belief that the Browns don't just want depth at wide receiver, they want a clear number one. Someone defenses have to respect every single snap. Someone who can take over games, create separation under pressure, and give the quarterback a reliable target no matter the situation. And right now, many fans feel that role is still up for grabs. That's where Tate becomes a real threat, not just as a future addition, but as a direct replacement in terms of expectations. If he comes in and performs the way people believe he can, the entire hierarchy of the receiver room could shift overnight. What makes it even more intense is how clean his narrative is compared to Jeudy's current situation. Tate is seen as hungry, focused, and rising. There's no baggage, no questions about attitude, no viral sideline clips being analyzed frame by frame. Just potential, upside, and excitement. Meanwhile, Jeudy is dealing with scrutiny, pressure, and the weight of unmet expectations. That contrast is powerful. And in the NFL, perception often influences opportunity more than people realize. There's also the long-term factor. Teams don't just think about the next game, they think about the next few years. If Cleveland believes Tate can develop into a cornerstone player, it becomes easier to make tough decisions about current roster spots. If you love real talk and fearless NFL breakdowns, hit subscribe and join Coach Speaks. And that's the reality Jeudy is facing. It's not just about outperforming opponents anymore, it's about outperforming the idea of someone replacing you. Because once a team starts imagining the future without you, it becomes a lot easier for that future to actually happen. Now nothing is guaranteed. Draft talks shift, plans change, and prospects don't always land where expected. But the fact that this conversation even exists says a lot about where things stand right now. For Jeudy, this isn't just competition, it's a countdown. Because if Tate, or someone like him, steps into this offense and delivers immediately, the decision could be made faster than anyone expects. And what makes it even more brutal, the numbers might already be making that decision easier. And when you strip away the emotions, the rumors, and the speculation, everything eventually comes down to one thing: the numbers. Because in the NFL, stats don't just tell a story, they decide your future. For Jeudy, that's where things start to look uncomfortable. On paper, there have been flashes of talent, moments where you see the route running, the quick separation, the ability that once made him a first-round pick. But the problem is consistency. Those flashes haven't turned into sustained production, and that's what teams care about the most. There have been stretches where he disappears from the game entirely. Drives go by without his name being called. Opportunities come and go, and somehow the impact just isn't there. And when you're expected to be a top option in the offense, that becomes a serious issue. Now, to be fair, the situation around him hasn't been perfect. The Browns have dealt with instability at quarterback, constant changes, and an offense that struggled to find rhythm. Different quarterbacks mean different timing, different chemistry, and different levels of trust. That affects any receiver. But here's the part that's hard to ignore. True number one receivers usually find a way to produce regardless of the situation. They demand the ball. They create moments. They make themselves impossible to overlook. And right now, that hasn't consistently been the case. There have also been concerns about efficiency. When targets do come his way, they haven't always turned into big gains. Missed connections, contested catches not being secured, routes that don't fully convert into opportunities. It all adds up over time. Not in a dramatic way, but in a slow, steady way that builds doubt. And in today's NFL, doubt is dangerous. Because teams aren't just evaluating what you've done, they're projecting what you will do. And if the production doesn't match the expectation, they start looking for someone who can close that gap immediately. That's where the comparison game begins. Fans and analysts start asking tough questions. What if another receiver had those same opportunities? What if someone more physical, more consistent, or more explosive was in that role? Would the numbers look different? Those questions don't need clear answers to have an impact. Just asking them is enough to shift perception. And perception, once again, plays a huge role in decision-making. The reality is, being solid isn't enough anymore. Not when the team is trying to evolve. Not when there are younger, hungrier players entering the league every year. Not when your role demands you to be a difference maker. Jeudy isn't being judged against average players. He's being judged against what a WR1 is supposed to be. And right now, the gap between expectation and production is becoming harder to ignore. Which leads to an even bigger shift happening behind the scenes, because this isn't just about stats anymore. It's about a new system, a new mindset, and a coach who might not be willing to wait. And just when it felt like the pressure couldn't get any heavier, a bigger shift started happening behind the scenes, one that could completely redefine Jeudy's future. Because this isn't the same Cleveland team anymore. There's a new mindset taking over, and it's built on one simple idea: no more excuses. With Todd Monken stepping into a major role in shaping the offense, the tone has clearly changed. This isn't about potential anymore. It's not about waiting for players to figure it out. It's about execution, discipline, and results, right now. Monken's system is known for being direct and demanding. Players are expected to know their assignments, run precise routes, and deliver under pressure. There's no room for freelancing, no tolerance for repeated mistakes, and definitely no patience for inconsistency. Either you perform or someone else will. And that's exactly what makes this situation so intense for Jeudy. Because in a system like this, reputation doesn't matter. Draft position doesn't matter. Even past flashes of brilliance don't matter. The only thing that counts is what you put on the field today. Every practice rep is evaluated. Every route is judged. Every drop, every miscommunication, it all adds up quickly. What's different now is accountability. Before, there might have been room to point at circumstances, quarterback changes, offensive struggles, lack of rhythm. But in this new structure, those explanations don't carry the same weight. The expectation is simple. Do your job, no matter what's happening around you. And that applies to everyone. For a wide receiver, that means clean route running, reliable hands, and the ability to create separation when it matters most. It means staying locked in even when the ball isn't coming your way. It means being part of a system, not just playing for individual moments. And if that standard isn't met, the consequences come fast. Because Monken isn't just building an offense, he's building trust. Trust between the quarterback and his receivers. Trust in the timing, the reads, the execution. And if one piece breaks that trust, it doesn't take long for the coaching staff to look for alternatives. That's where the no more excuses era really hits. Jeudy isn't just competing against defenders anymore. He's competing against expectations, against new talent coming in, and against a system that demands perfection. There's no safety net, no guaranteed role, no waiting period. Either he adapts to this new standard, or he gets left behind. And the truth is, this kind of shift can either elevate a player to a whole new level, or expose every weakness they've been trying to overcome. For Jeudy, this is the ultimate test. Because now, it's not about what he could be. It's about what he proves every single day. And with everything changing around him, one thing has become painfully clear. This is no longer about development. This is about survival. This is the part where everything becomes brutally simple for Jeudy. No more projections, no more waiting, no more benefit of the doubt. This is survival mode. Because right now, he's not just fighting for targets, he's fighting for relevance. Every practice feels different when you know your spot isn't secure. Every rep carries weight. Every mistake lingers a little longer. And when there's real competition looming, whether it's a rookie like Carnell Tate or another addition the team brings in, it changes how you approach everything. You don't get to ease into the season anymore. You don't get time to find your rhythm. You either show up ready or you get passed up. That's the reality Jeudy is facing. And what makes it even more intense is that this isn't just about numbers on a stat sheet. This is about trust. Coaches are watching to see who they can rely on when the game is on the line. Quarterbacks are watching to see who will be in the right place at the right time. Teammates are watching to see who stays locked in when things go sideways. In survival mode, everything is being evaluated. Your effort when the play isn't designed for you. Your reaction when a pass doesn't come your way. Your focus after a mistake. It all matters. Because the players who survive in moments like this aren't always the most talented, they're the most consistent. The ones who eliminate errors. The ones who stay composed. The ones who make it easy for the system to trust them. And right now, Jeudy has to prove he's that kind of player. There's also the mental side of it. It's one thing to deal with pressure during a game. It's another to carry it every single day. The noise, the criticism, the constant comparisons, it doesn't go away. If anything, it gets louder. Some players shrink under that weight. Others use it as fuel. And that's the question hanging over Jeudy right now. How is he going to respond? Because survival mode forces decisions. It forces urgency. It forces growth. If you love real talk and fearless NFL breakdowns, hit subscribe and join Coach Speaks. You can't rely on what you used to be. You can't lean on past expectations. You have to reinvent yourself in real time and prove, over and over again, that you belong. And if he does that, if he locks in, sharpens every part of his game and delivers when it matters, this entire narrative can flip. He can go from being questioned to being respected again. But if he does, then the outcome becomes hard to avoid. Because teams don't wait, they adjust, they replace, they move forward. And with the way things are shaping up in Cleveland, that next move might already be closer than it seems. Which means for Jeudy, this isn't just another season. This is the moment that decides everything. And when you step back and look at the full picture, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. This isn't just another season for Jeudy. This is a defining moment that could shape the rest of his career. Everything has led to this point. The expectations from being a first-round pick, the flashes of brilliance that showed what he's capable of, the inconsistency that held him back, the pressure from fans, the noise from the outside, and now the very real possibility of being replaced. It's all colliding at once. Because the NFL doesn't wait for anyone. Opportunities don't stay open forever. Roles aren't guaranteed. And once a team starts seriously exploring other options, especially someone like Carnell Tate, it means they're already preparing for a future that might not include you. That's what makes this moment so intense. Jeudy isn't just competing against defenders on Sundays. He's competing against doubt, against perception, against a version of himself that hasn't quite matched the expectations placed on him. And now, with a new system taking shape under Todd Monken, there's no more room to hide behind circumstances or potential. It's all about results. What he puts on the field from this point forward will determine everything: his role, his reputation, and possibly his place on the roster. Every route has to be sharper. Every catch has to matter more. Every moment has to show growth. Because if it doesn't, the outcome becomes predictable. The Browns are clearly moving toward a new identity, one built on accountability, execution, and surrounding their offense with players who can elevate it instantly. And if someone else steps in and delivers at a higher level, the decision won't be emotional, it'll be business. That's how this league works. But here's the part that makes this story so compelling. It's not over yet. This is the kind of pressure that can break a player or completely transform them. We've seen careers turn around in moments just like this. Players written off, counted out, replaced in conversations, only to come back stronger, sharper, and more focused than ever before. Jeudy still has that chance. The talent is there. The opportunity is still there. But now, it has to be backed by urgency, discipline, and undeniable production. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about proving people wrong. It's about proving he belongs. So now the question becomes simple. What happens next? Does Jeudy rise under pressure and finally become the player everyone expected him to be? Or does the competition, the criticism, and the changing direction of the team push him out of the picture entirely? One way or another, the answer is coming fast. And when it does, it could change everything.
If you enjoyed today's breakdown and want to keep up with all the drama, trades, and behind-the-scenes action in the NFL, then don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps this channel grow and lets us know you love this kind of content. And hey, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with your friends, your group chats, or anyone who loves football as much as you do. The more the conversation spreads, the better it gets. Most importantly, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss when we drop fresh stories, wild rumors, or breaking updates that the mainstream media won't talk about.